Welcome back to movementprofessional.com. So today I'm going to go over 5 different exercises to remedy long head of the biceps tendonitis. So the long head of the biceps is the attachment point for the biceps muscle belly into the shoulder, which attaches to the shoulder socket and actually the shoulder labrum. All right, so typically the complaints with this presentation are reaching behind the back or reaching behind the car seat. You get pain in the front of the shoulder here. All right, so the first exercise we're going to do is we'll look at the actual area. We're going to tend to be more gentle around this area because the tissue is going to be easier to irritate, and it also just doesn't have as good of a blood supply because it's a long tendon. So we're not going to be very aggressive with it, but we are going to try to get some movement to it to desensitize it. So in order to do that, we're going to make sure we're right on the skin. All right, and we don't have to be super specific. A good manual therapist will easily be able to find the groove where the biceps tendon sits, but you don't necessarily have to do that if you're working on your own. You just find a ball that has a little stickiness to it. So yoga tune-up, Jill Miller's yoga tune-up ball works really well, or just a pinky ball that you can get at a Five Below. All right, and you're going to get right in the front of the shoulder, and you're just going to try to create a little bit of twisty motion right on the area. And you may, if you are in pain from this, you may have to go quite shallow and just create small little motions on the tissue. And the goal is to be able to create a little bit more depth of your pressure over time. All right, so the idea here is not necessarily to create any type of massage, but really more to just desensitize the tissue, get the tendon a little bit more tolerant to pressure. All right, so we want to just really get the skin to twist and lift and drop back down. This can aid in circulation getting to the area, as well as lymphatic flow to the area to pull some fluid out of there. All right, so we don't want to be too aggressive around there. We can hang out there for maybe about 2 minutes. Then we can go downstream into the belly of the bicep, and we can be a little bit more aggressive here. So the second exercise would be to take a myo ball or some type of larger massage ball and get right into the muscle belly of the biceps. So we're going to lie on our stomach with the arm that we're working on. It's going to be horizontally abducted outward, and then that same leg is going to be extended down with my opposite leg being in a figure 4 position. That creates a little bit more leverage onto the arm. So in this case, I'm on my right arm, all right, and I'm going to create pressure right on the muscle belly of the bicep, not on the area of the symptoms, which would be the front of the shoulder. All right, let me show you on the other side. Okay, so I'm going to extend the left leg, put the ball on the front of the bicep, not up into the front of the shoulder, but just down to the front of the arm, and I'm going to create some pressure back and forth. So the depth of pressure is more important than the side-to-side motion. So I want to create depth of pressure first, and then create a slow steamrolling effect. And I can hang out there for about 2 minutes. All right, then I'm going to look at the other side. So if I got the bicep tendon right in the front of the shoulder, I went downstream. Now I'm going to look more towards the center on the other side into the pec region, okay? Because the pec will pull the shoulder forward and can create an excessive contraction of the front of the shoulder. If my shoulder is always forward every time I go to flex my shoulder up, I'm going to be using more biceps tendon than I would like, and I'm going to be using less of the muscles in the back of the body. So the load is going to be put more in the front of the shoulder. So we want to try to kind of work on loosening this up so it allows the shoulder to fall back into a better position. So we'll move to the front of the chest. Again, the same position with the arm here. And what's really important when you have any type of problems with the long head of the bicep is that we engage the tricep, which is it's the antagonist or the opposite muscle. So I'm just going to engage the tricep a little bit as I roll over the front of the shoulder. Again, not right into the front of the chest, not into the front of the shoulder where these symptoms are coming from. So I'm going to be more aggressive away from the symptoms, creating a little bit of tricep contraction, as long as that doesn't bring my pain on. All right, I can do about 2 minutes there. I can play around with different angles. It tends to work better to have the thumb down, but you can play with having the thumb up, which will then create an external rotation of the shoulder and can actually give you a little bit of contraction in some of the postural muscles, which may be helpful. All right, so that's the third exercise. The fourth we're going to look at is actually getting at the thoracic spine. So again, if the shoulders are forward, there's going to be excessive use of the front of the arm and this long head of the bicep. So we want to be able to improve our shoulder position. One of the best ways to do that is just work on thoracic extension. So we're going to put the double ball, so the 2 tennis balls taped together, right between the shoulder blades, and we're going to promote extension. All right, so we'll start, if we have the right arm, that's the problem arm, we'll put the left hand behind the head just to support the neck. And then we can do various things with this right arm. Again, we might want to engage the tricep as we are just bridging up and down. We can play with different angles and get close to, but not into the symptoms as we're bringing our arm up, kind of like a clock, to overhead. So if we find any area of symptom, we just back off a little bit from there, and then we're going to contract our tricep at the back of the arm while we're going up and down at various angles. All right, so we can spend about 2 minutes here, or we can count to 20 reps of bridging up and down. All right, the last exercise we're going to look at is more of a stability exercise. So again, we want to be engaging the tricep, which is, again, the antagonist, so we create what's called reciprocal inhibition. So if we turn the tricep down, we're going to take some stress off of the bicep and the biceps tendon. All right, so most of us understand how to engage the tricep by extending the elbow, but a lot of us miss the shoulder extension piece. So we need to have the hands behind the body a little bit to create shoulder extension while we're extending the elbow. So one of the best ways to do this is in a crab or table position, progressively lifting the buttocks higher and higher. So if I just get into this position, I'm already creating a shoulder extension. Without lifting at all, I can turn my triceps on, try to contract them, lift the sternum up, and see if that's tolerable. All right, if that already creates a little bit of pain in the shoulder, then I want to move it in a little bit, and I might decrease the amount of contraction, but this is where I would stay, and I would just work on some isometric tricep contractions here. If that feels fine, I can engage my shoulder blades, create a little bit of external rotation like I'm spinning my hands through the ground, and then I can play around with lifting my butt. So if I still feel okay, no symptoms here, I can work up as high as I can tolerate. The higher I get with my hips, the more shoulder extension I'm creating. All right, so I'm engaging the tricep, I'm creating a isometric contraction there, and then I'm moving into some shoulder extension. If I go too far, I'm going to overstretch this chronically shortened tissue, which can cause pain. So I want to use pain as feedback, and I want to just kind of touch the onset and go a little bit shy of that. But the key is that I'm engaging the opposite muscles, my tricep and the muscles between my shoulder blades. So I'm creating like a screwing mechanism into the ground, and I'm finding the angle that's pain-free, but engaging all those muscles. Okay, so I can be anywhere from my butt down, just creating that contraction on the ground, or I can lift all the way up, pushing through my heels, and if that's pain-free, then that's where I want to be. All right, so I can do that for reps, holding for about 5 seconds, 10 times. All right, so that's 5 exercises to help treat long head of the biceps tendonitis. Obviously, if you have any issues with that and any of those things are causing pain, please don't do them. Go see a medical professional. If you have any questions, you can contact me at movementprofessional.com. See you next time.